So our final card to make today is the window reveal card. As you can see, this is a really big card. It's a fun card. It has a special little mechanism in here that allows us to turn the wheel around. So you can see we have pictures in here. Now these are all from the USB, and I have shrunk them considerably so that I could get them into the windows. But you can, with your scan and cut, actually write your own sentiments onto here by cleverly scanning in the actual part of the mechanism which has some score lines on. If you're quite advanced or you know your scan and cut, I'm fairly new to it, so it will actually do that. But I decided I wanted to do some teeny tiny animals and probably make it for a young child to actually play with. The wheel will go around either way, so you can do that whether you want to go forward or backward, and also we've put it on this beautiful scallop base so it will rock as well. So really I guess it should be called a window reveal rocking card or a rocking window reveal card, whatever you want to call it, but it does two things. So let me show you how to make this one. So first of all, we're going to start with the mechanism itself. So as I just mentioned there, you can actually scan this panel in and write your best wishes or happy birthday or whatever you want to write, your message. Within these little perforation marks that are here. Now if you cut this out when you get the USB, you'll be able to see these much clearer, and it will make a little bit more sense. So what we need to do first of all, we've got this and it cuts out with the dotted lines on and the scalloped edge, and then you'll also get on the same section a smaller circle with a hole in the middle. Now obviously we need to make this mechanism turn, so what we need to do is we can take either a split pin or a brad, which I've grabbed a brad out of my collection. I don't use brads much these days, but I found this one. I thought that will be perfect. You're not going to see it anyway, it's going to be hidden, so it doesn't matter what colour it is or what size it is, whether it's glittery or whatever, you can use that. So that then sits on the back of the mechanism like that, and we pull out the legs of the brad like that, and then we can just press that down. Right, so what we need to do now is we need to add some foam pads to this circular mechanism here. So what I'm going to do is grab some of my foam tape, and I'm going to put two little pieces on, just so that it holds it in place when we press it down. So what we're going to do is we have the mechanism now. This is what revolves so that we can turn the wheel. So we take the tape off the back in here, and what we do is we have our wheel here, which has actually got a tiny cross in the middle, and it's also got perforation marks around the center. So what we need to do, we also have a second wheel that is exactly the same size, but this has got the aperture cut in it, which then sits over these dotted lines. So what we need to do, we need to get the three of them together. So we use the top panel here and we sit it over the top of those perforations so that it's lined up quite well, and then we can see our mechanism here. What we then do is we place this on top of this panel with the dotted line, and we put them so that they sit together exactly, okay, and you keep hold of that wheel underneath so that it doesn't move, because that's how we line it up, so that it's then sandwiched between the discs like that. So then we have the mechanism, and that will move round now. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to put this back on, but we need to attach it to this, and because of the depth of this we need to add some tape around the edge. So we can use, what's easiest is for me to use some of our foam tape. Now I'm going to use 2 rows of foam tape just because we have got a thick piece of our foam tape under the actual rotating wheel, which you just saw me do. This is the same, this tape is the same depth, but if we put it on here, it's too deep for that gap. So I'm going to use our thinner tape, and we can bend this as well. So we're going to put it right to the edge like that, and we're just going to bend it round as we go. So just keeping it in 1 millimetre or 2 right from the very edge, but not letting it catch on that scalloped wheel, because that will then stop it from turning round. So we're going to go all the way around, just like that. And when we get to the end, we'll trim off at the edge where that little semicircle is cut out, where the wheel turns. And then we will go back in with another layer of tape. Okay, so we'll just chop that just at the end, like that. And then what we'll do, I'm just going to grab that and bend it in a little bit. So press that down, take the backing off that tape, and then do another row on top. And this will depend on your tape of choice that you've got at home that you like to use. Because remember as well, we've also got a brad in the centre of this. So we're also allowing for the brad as well. So we need to make sure that the wheel will still turn round. So we can keep going around there with the tape, and you won't see the tape. It's going to be tucked in between the wheels, so it will be fine. So we're a little bit further around like that to go, and then we can trim off the tape at the end, just following that line there like that. We can just trim the edge so they kind of match as close as you can get them. Okay, and then this will sit on top, and then our wheel will turn like that, even when that's flat on top. So let's take the backing off here. If you want it to be really, really free, then you can actually add another layer, if you want to, of tape on top of there. So let's just line these up together now so that they fit like that. Like that. And then we just check our wheel will turn. Yes, it will. Turns perfectly inside the card. Okay, so now what we need to do, we have got a slightly smaller mat that's going to fit on there. So you can see we've got that nice black and white section as before. If you want to actually do colours, or use some inks, you can do that. Cut them from whatever colours you want to. I used some of our 12x12 black and white cardstock, and then I also used some of the American Crafts cardstock because it's really, really nice. So now what we do, we have 2 more mats. So these are our bigger bases. So this is what the wheel sits on. So we're going to attach the white wheel on the top, like that. And then our mechanism and our wheel will actually sit on top of here. So we're keeping that circle theme going all the time. Okay, so this is now going to sit on top of the mechanism, on top of the base, sorry. And we'll just do some glue on there. And that will sit on top of there. And just get it in the centre as best we can, like that. And then we'll just give that a minute to dry while we then go onto the card base. So the card base is absolutely huge, but it's a circle with a perforated line going across the middle. So that's where we fold it in half to create our rocker base. And then we've got mats as well to go on top of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our black mat on top, and we'll take it right to the top of the line here. So it'll go nice and flush with the fold at the top of the card. And again, we can just make sure that sits evenly along there. I'm just going to look at that like that. And then we will do this one. So this layer, and again, this is a slightly smaller mat again. So we will just put this on top of the black one. Like that, lining it up nice and evenly at the top. Like that. So we've now got our rocker section here. And then we can layer this on top of here. So again, as I showed you before, if you get it and sit it on there quite evenly, remember we're only gluing half of this, so turn it over, grab your pencil, pop a little pencil mark just along there, a tiny pencil mark, and then just glue that section below there. Now what you can do as well, you can, let's go back in and do this just as a little tip for you. If we just get it like we did before, so line it up so it's quite central like that. Let me just turn that wheel so that's like that. Okay, that's good. And then we've got our little pencil mark. Just do another pencil mark at that side and that side, because then you know, if it was a square you'd be able to see it, but you can't always tell where the halfway line is on a circle. So if you do the pencil marks, it will help you actually get it in place. And then of course we can just sit it on there like that, and we can sit it up again so we get it nice and even like that. Press it down, there's no glue showing at the back there, so that's good. And then we turn it over, and then what we have included as well, we've included these little sentiment strips. So if you wanted to, you could put your sentiment on there, you could put a message, you could put someone's name, you could just do it and add a row of gems or pearls or something like that. So we'll stick that together. It actually comes up as sentiment mat, I think, on the actual USB under the window reveal card. But again, you could stamp onto there, you could write onto it, you could do whatever you want to, or even add a little piece of ribbon and a bow. It's entirely up to you. So, and then depends where you want to put that. You can put it on my original test one. I put it there because I quite liked it there. But again, you could put it right down at the bottom, but it seems a shame to cover up the scallops. You could put it up there, but I quite like it here. So I'm going to sit it here and let it just overhang a little bit, just to give you an idea, but it's entirely up to you. And if you want to leave it off, you can. You don't need to do that. But I think this is a really, really nice project. I think it's, because we've extended it and put it on a rocker base as well, I think it's really quite extravagant. And it's a really, really big card. And it's the final card of the USB. So I think it's quite fitting that we do a really nice big card. But there we have it with our turning wheel. And again, you can turn it both ways. It's entirely up to you. And let's bring in our original one, which is here. You can see these are two huge, huge cards. Again, if you're going to do like I did, and you're going to cut the animals out, you're going to colour them, and you're going to do the little mat or the white edge around, maybe add more tape so that it lifts the wheel up so that you're not getting any catching anywhere. But that's something you will figure out once you've decided how to do it. I think you'll really enjoy making this one. So that then draws an end to our tutorials for this fabulous USB. We hope that if you treated yourself and you got it, we hope that you've already put it into your machine and started having a look what's on there. There's tons on there. It's such a lovely USB to use. It's the first time I've been involved in working with the Brothers Scan and Cut. I've really enjoyed it. It's been really good learning curve for me. I'm really glad that we could bring the mechanisms to you rather than giving you step-by-step instructions. As Mel said, it was a little bit more difficult to do written instructions, so a practical way to do it is by doing a tutorial and actually showing you how the mechanisms put together in the form using black and white card. We hope you've really enjoyed it. We've enjoyed doing it, and get the USB in the machine and start cutting and start making. And if you have any queries or anything, just get in touch with us and let us know, and we will do our very best to help you out on anything you're stuck with. But thank you very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the tutorials, and we'll see you soon.